welcome to round 4 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast for the week of September 23rd. I'm Terry Morrow, and I'm here with Nicole Eridix.
Hello.
And Catherine Haleko.
Hello.
As moms of teens and young adults, we've survived those little kid days, yet we're still rethinking the decisions we've made all through our kids' lives and worrying about what's going on right now. Today's Thursday, which means it's time to give in to our obsessing about parenting details big and small, like, for example, house rules. Do you have them? Do they apply to everyone in the house? Do they apply to you? Who's most likely to enforce them and to break them? What's your guys' situation with house rules? I got to think about whether I have any. I think we're kind of a lawless land here.
I know. I was trying to think of what ours were. And I try to enforce the no shoes in the house rule, for example, which is very hit or miss, and leads to, number one, there's a giant pile of shoes by the back door, and number two, certain people, don't follow it anyway, and then there's shoes piled up elsewhere.
Right.
So
I have to tell you,
kingdom for a mudroom, please.
My husband yelled at me the other day for having no shoes on inside the house, and I'm like, some people don't like to have shoes on in the house. He says, put some shoes on. With some slippers or something. I'm like, well, he had his sneakers on at the time, so we're wear your dirty shoes from outside all over the place, and if you have bare feet, you're picking it up. Put some shoes on.
Yes, my mother-in-law and grandmother-in-law used to just be horrified when I would walk around, even in socks, in their house, in their carpeted house. Don't you need some slippers? Let me get you some slippers. I'm fine, really.
Well, we do have the rule that I've talked about, which is that everybody has to say goodbye to mom before they leave the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loosely enforced, however. Despite the sheriff constantly reminding the citizens of the home that it's an essential part of living there, the scofflaws often just sneak out.
Just walk right out the door.
They just walk right out the door. The other day, I always like to say, goodbye, I love you, maybe give a kiss, make a big deal. The other day, my daughter said that what she would like us to do from now on as our tradition is that I say, see you later, alligator, and she'll say, in a while, crocodile. That's going to be our new.
Oh, great.
So, you know what? I'll take what I can get.
Right. It's better than her leaving without saying anything.
It is. Yeah. Yes. And you always love it when you say, I love you, and they say, okay.
Bye.
Wait a minute. That's fine with you? Is this what you're saying? I have permission to love you? That's a whole nother conversation. Get back in this house.
We're going to talk about this.
Or thank you. I get thank you sometimes.
Well, I guess that's better.
What I really get back is the appropriate response to I love you, but oh well. At least they let me know they're leaving and they acknowledge my effort to.
Yeah.
See, house rules, if I have house rules, it doesn't feel good. I have them. But, possibly there's treaties that need to be enacted for the other nation states in my home to observe my laws and regulations.
When I was a kid, we had a rule that you weren't allowed to eat outside of the kitchen. And the TV, of course, was in the sunroom, which was not in the kitchen. And there were many shelves and cubbies in there because it was like a playroom, and that's where the piano was and all the toys and the TV. And so, there would be wrappers and cups and things stuffed in the shelf. Somebody's coming. Put that bowl behind that toy real quick. And then, of course, you'd forget that they were there. So that was a good plan.
That's funny.
Yeah, those rules don't work.
Have you seen the picture that goes around on Facebook frequently of the kid that's, they're not allowed to eat outside the kitchen and they're not allowed to have their iPad in the kitchen. So the kid is lying on the floor with his plate on the linoleum and his iPad on the carpet and the doorway of the kitchen. See, that's
brilliant.
Smart child.
Found a loophole.
Yep.
Absolutely. I would just be happy if people, in my kitchen ate over the table. They wander, not only do they wander around the house, they wander around the kitchen, dropping crumbs all over the place.
And
Stop that.
Nobody uses a plate in my house. It's just, there's like, put stuff on a plate, for goodness sake.
Yeah. The acoustics in my house are such that from my room where I work, I can hear the rustling of wrappers of things in the kitchen. Oh, and so I know when people are just standing there eating stuff out of a box in the middle of the floor. But did they bring me some? No.
Yeah, I'm big on saying goodnight. We all have to say goodnight to one another. That's a big one.
Yes.
And locking doors.
Yes.
I'm sorry, but I have this thing, and if you are leaving, coming or going, even if you're in the house, lock the door.
Yes.
I
am with you there.
Paranoia of, somebody coming in who shouldn't.
That seems like a really small and obvious thing
and my
to ask.
dog not doing anything about it.
Your dog not doing anything.
My security system not doing anything about it.
Yeah, I would say that's a rule here too. Like when you come in for the night, lock the door, or if you're leaving and you're the only person home, lock the door, things like that. And they're pretty good about that. And everyone knows, put the dogs away. Put the dogs in the crate if you're going, if you're home, if you're the only person home.
Right.
Nobody wants to face the consequences of that, so everyone's
No. I saw something on Facebook. It was one of those memes, and it was like a doormat that said, "If you're here, text us. Let's not get the dogs involved."
That's perfect.
I love it. That is so our house.
Yeah. Absolutely.
That would totally change the way we live.
But I would need the sign to be posted like at the end of the sidewalk.
Yes.
Like don't.
That's true.
By the time they're on the porch, it's too late.
That's right. Yes. Do you guys lock your cars when they are in the driveway and or in the garage?
In the driveway for sure.
I just kind of believe in locking everything that has a lock at all times, just because, but I get a lot of grief.
You grew up in California. You have the right to do that. Yes.
Because if I don't do it every time, then I will forget to do it one time when I need to. Yeah.
Yeah, we lock everything. I mean, never, even when we lived in small towns, we did. I grew up without locking things. Like, nobody locked anything in our town.
Yeah, I don't think we did either, at least early on. That's something that's changed.
Yeah, hugely. Actually, my parents still keep their front door unlocked. It drives me crazy. I'm no, they're older. And they're in a populated area. I'm like, lock your door. Still don't do it. But
that's worrisome.
I remember somebody even came into our house once when we were away. I think we were not away on vacation. This is when I was a kid. Mm-hmm. And they ransacked the kitchen or something.
I know.
And we still didn't lock the door after that.
Still didn't change the behavior.
Well, he was probably hungry. We were glad to help out.
Yeah.
Hey.
So.
Yeah, the other day I left my old crummy laptop unattended at Panera, long enough to go to the bathroom, and I'm like, well, if someone takes it, then karma's gonna get them because they're not.
Were you secretly
use it?
You were secretly kind of hoping so then you could get a new one. Just gonna leave this laptop here sitting on the table. I'll be gone for a little bit.
I don't feel so well. I might be in the bathroom a while.
Sure hope nobody takes it. Please take it. Please take it.
I have tried to have rules about, turning off electronics a certain time before bedtime, or try to, have everything plugged in, not in the bedroom. And it's failed pretty miserably. So,
yeah. That doesn't work. But we do also, as Nicole said about everybody saying goodnight, my daughter puts herself to bed without saying anything. But then whenever my son goes to bed, which is often kind of late, and oftentimes he has to wake my husband and I up off the couch to do it. Right. But we all go into my daughter's room and say prayers. So that's a house rule. We do it. She's asleep usually, but we still hold her hand. And
she's getting it by just osmosis.
By osmosis. She sort of semi-wakes up. I now have to warn her when we come in. Just come in and say prayers, honey. Don't panic. That there's a circle of people around you saying things.
Suddenly surrounding your bed.
But, my son always comes out and wakes us up and says, time to put me to bed. And so we do. I like that rule. And we say grace at the table and drag children to church every Sunday. So I guess those are kind of house rules.
Yeah,
I'd say they are.
Drag young adults at this point.
Right. What their rules for the house.
We still have sufficient leverage to
right.
make them go to mass.
Well, there's always opportunity for rules to be made and broken, right?
Yes, don't interrupt Mom during a podcast recording, being a newish rule in our house.
That is a new rule.
That is a good one.
Yes.
Well, we will wrap it up, though, for today and say that's it for today's round 4. Our rule is you're finished.
Yes.
But tune in tomorrow when we'll share our roundabout roundup of things we've been using or enjoying lately that we think deserve a shout out. Find all our episodes at parentingroundabout.com and talk back in the comments there, on our Facebook page, or on Twitter, where you'll find us at Roundabout Chat.